Welcome to the Love Inspired Leadership Podcast. We are so grateful that you made the decision to be here. And this is a place where I think, feels like home, where we have courageous conversations and stories and deeply honor the new models of leadership that the world, I think, needs. And my guest today, Carrie Terhark, is a certified TOP facilitator, mentor, trainer, and founder of KT Facilitation. And she has a really powerful story that I love diving into. And that is, it's a story of burning out, starting over, and building a business that truly honors both heart and her values. I think will really resonate with anyone that is truly ready to lead with more love, collaboration, and authenticity. So, Carrie, thank you for making the decision to be on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
What's that?
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we've met. I was on your podcast too, and we've had some really meaningful conversations, and I feel so deeply aligned with who you are, what you stand for, and the way that you serve within your business. So I just think we're going to have a really great conversation today. So I'm ready. So can you share your personal story? I mean, let's just start right at the top here about, when you got burnt out, what was that like, and how that led you to really begin again and to really rebuild a new future, a new foundation of love and self-respect.
Yeah. So thinking back about 3 years ago, I had been working my dream job with a dream organization, doing the work that I love with people that I really loved and felt supported by. And small little things started happening that really made me kind of question what I was doing. Some of them were work related and thinking about my values or things that I was spending time doing. Some of it was at home and finding myself not having time to really be present when I was at home. And shortly after that, I had a complete emotional breakdown. And I was home, I was scheduled on vacation, and honestly really couldn't barely get out of bed. I had a friend who was in town and was coming over, and we were going outside and doing some things, but it was a real emotional shakeup for me. And it really made me start to reflect on what was causing it. And it was like this moment where you walk by a mirror and you kind of catch yourself and you're like, who is that? Yes. Or it was like, I don't recognize the person that I've become. And I realized that something needed to change. And I made a decision to leave the organization that I was in and to do something on my own, to start something on my own. And I wasn't exactly sure what it looked like. I didn't have a plan. It wasn't something that I had thought through, but it was like something needs to change and I need to shake something else out right now because I am not proud of who I am. I do not like how I'm showing up. I do not like how I'm treating people. I am not living my own values. And I don't want to continue down this path. So I left.
So I call that a hard right in life. So you made a significant decision that changed everything within your personal life, your professional life. And, that reflection that you had in bed, you didn't even really want to get out of bed. I think that was the turning point for you to make that decision. And I'm curious about your reflections, your thinking through the values that you stand for, and you realizing that you were out of alignment with those. So what were the core values that you really knew that were out of alignment and causing the most internal conflict for you?
Caroline, I think to be honest with you, to answer that question, it was, I don't know what my values are anymore. I don't even know who I am. It had gone so far past that it wasn't even that those values weren't showing up for me. I couldn't even remember what they were. And the first thing that I did, I knew I was going to start my own business, and I knew I needed a plan, and I knew I needed to do all the paperwork, and I knew I needed to do all of these things. But before I did any of that, the first thing that I did was I hired a mindfulness coach, because I knew that I had to fix something here, because there was a pattern of things that had happened over my life where I was like, how do I always end up here? And one of the first things that my mindfulness coach asked me was, who is Carrie? And we talked for a while, and finally she just kind of said, she's like, everything that you've talked about is who you are as a mom, who you are as a friend, who you are in your job, but who are you? And I think it was also, I was at that point in my life where my kids were growing and they were out of the house. So there was a lot of transition, and really spent some time really digging in with her and really going deep into agreements that I'd made with myself about behaviors that I had that no longer were serving me, to really then find those real values and who I really am.
It's such an incredible journey. I mean, we are both women and we know what it is to be a woman, but to go down that path of discovering who we are authentically, genuine, and I am sure that inspired you to make new decisions, to take other bold, courageous steps in the evolution of and starting your own business. So how did you find the courage to rebuild, though? I mean, that's really an interesting reflection on your own unique strength, because there's a lot of people in a lot of jobs that they have lost themselves. And that's what happened for you.
Yes.
So how did you find the courage? I'm just curious.
I think part of my personality is sometimes kind of spontaneous, maybe impulsive. So some of those thoughts aren't uncommon for me. But I knew that I wanted to think through it. For me, it's almost like I have to slow down and think about it before I leap, because I know that my personality is one that's just going to leap. But I sat down with my husband and I was talking to him about it. And I was like, I just really feel like I need to do something different. And one of the things that he said to me is, I'll support you. And I don't care if you work at Target. I don't care if you are cleaning houses for a living. Like, I don't care what it is that you decide you want to do. You can do it. I will support it and we will be fine. And for me, it was that support system that, like, okay, yes, we will be fine. We will be fine.
And I can change everything. I will.
And that was the position. That was just the permission I needed to unleash it all.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so I want the audience just to reflect on that. We can make these bold decisions when we have that support team around us, and that to invite that support team to be around you. So it may be your significant other, maybe a family member, it may be someone within your life that you can have these kinds of conversations with, because it's this level of truth that you get to be bold and brave. We never do it alone.
Never.
I just know that so many people suffer by thinking that I just have me. I just have to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. And after he said that, again, I love that you point out it doesn't have to be, right? But we have people who serve different purposes in our life. Sometimes I need the hard truth tellers that need to peel the curtain back and say, this is what's really going on. And sometimes I need those people who are going to rally around me and say, I don't know what's next for you, but I am here and I'm going to be your cheerleader and you will be okay. And at that moment, I knew that's what I needed. And I knew that Mary, my mindfulness coach, was part of that too, and just helping me. I knew I had that support. And once I really started working on that, really started uncovering some things, really understanding what my goals were and my own values, I had a client that called me who I had worked with my previous organization, had called that organization and said, we know that Carrie left. We're just letting you know that we're going to call her. She doesn't know this. We're going to call her and we are going to work with her. And they called me and they were like, hey, we want to do this big project. It's grant funded. It's carryover money. So we have to pay you out up front for it for the whole year.
Oh, just give me a moment.
Oh. And it was that divine, right? There, you're like,
yes, it is.
Yeah. Yes, this is where I'm supposed to be. Yeah.
Well, I call those gifts from God.
Yeah.
I do. And when we become bold enough to make the decision on truly what our heart is calling us to do, as well as our head, and create that support system around us, that's when those gems, I call it, or gifts from God, show up. So that was a massive gift for you to build this foundation of confidence and ambition and drive, I am sure. Yes. Yes. Love it. I love it. I love it. And the other piece that I want to weave in here just at this moment is that you made the decision as well to ask for support. And when we know that we don't have the solutions and answers, that's when we need to be bold enough and brave enough to reach out and ask for that support in those areas that we know we have limitations. So I just commend you on making that decision too. Awesome. So when did you view leadership in a different way, like with this big shift in, and what did you learn about yourself in that process?
I think I've always viewed leadership in a different way. I just never could describe what it was. I knew very, very young, right out of high school, right in high school, I should say. I had a boss, husband, wife, worked at a pizza place, and they were so encouraging and inspiring, and they made work fun. And we would get in trouble. There would be things we would do wrong and they would correct it, but it was never shameful. It was always encouraging and it was always for the benefit of learning. And I think having that experience so young really shifted my mind into how we treat people. And I started working in community coalition work about 10 years ago. And part of that community coalition work was bringing together community stakeholders who have different agendas, different pots of money, different, everything, but yet trying to find something common that they could lift each other with. And that really made me think about what are the tools and techniques that I need to bring so that these group of people actually want to listen to each other and can see that they have a common why. And if they lift everyone, right, everyone benefits. And that led me to facilitation. That led me to facilitative leadership, where there were tools and techniques that were creating space for people to listen, talk, and work together. And it worked. And immediately that I knew, like, this is my next job. This is my calling. Everyone needs to know how to use these tools to collaborate.
And coming together is way better. And that is the truth.
Together.
Bottom line.
Yes.
And it's another example, even one single person not having to do it alone, but also organizations not having to do it alone too, because it's that open-mindedness and willingness to have those meaningful conversations that can support the growth of the greater good of all the organizations. I love it. So your story is really a beacon for anyone longing to turn struggle into a new beginning. And so let's explore next what you discovered along the journey and how that truly shapes the work that you're in right now. And let's just dive into this facilitation that you built with KT Facilitation. So you take these organizations on a process, journey, evolution, and tools. Can you share with us, a little bit about that?
Yeah, it actually mimics my story because it starts with the center. It starts with you. So understanding each individual, having each individual in the organization understand what are my strengths? Who am I? What are my values? Right? How do I work and communicate? And being confident in there and knowing that whatever you do, there's nothing wrong, right? It's fine. It's great. There's always room for improvement. But then to also understand that the person who's working next to me might be different. And just like you rally around the people who you need the support with, it's the same thing in business. So who on my team brings opposite qualities that I have? Who on my team could give me a different experience or bring a different expertise that I can learn from, that we can live? So it's about surrounding ourselves with all of those different experiences, all of those circles, understanding as a team, what does it mean for us to be high performing? How do we leverage the strengths of the team? How do we leverage and lift each other up and shift our leadership based on what we need in the moment? And then how are we going to plan together? And so part of the facilitative leadership is understanding yourself and how you show up. And the next part is the skills, the tools and techniques to run a meeting that doesn't just go in circles, to plan something that actually ends up happening, and to bring people along in the journey, and not just forcing something upon somebody, but really being there together.
Yeah. And realizing that every single person in this journey together has a contribution, a value, and it's really about honoring. I mean, that's what I'm feeling right now. It's honoring the entire team, not just the leadership at the top. It's honoring every single person's contribution, strengths and limitations, and coming together in that weave back and forth. I just love it.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
How do you, within yourself, in regards to routines or mindset positions, keep yourself, grounded, open-minded, and curious while you facilitate and travel between communities and organizations?
The first thing that I do is I have music, and music for me, I think for everyone, but for me, it's so important. And I have different playlists that I listen to. So if I need to relax, my blood pressure is kind of raising and I feel myself kind of responding to things that I are reacting to things that I really don't want to react to. And it's letting my emotions take over. I have a playlist to help me kind of wind back, right? If like in the morning where I'm walking into a training and I'm bringing the energy in the room and I really need to, create that space that people are excited to be in, I've got a playlist that helps me change that so that I'm walking in that way. And I think we have so much power in the energy that we bring to spaces that we really don't pay attention to.
I agree 100%. And it changes the energy and the perspective. And to me, I know it is to you too, energy is everything. And energy is a circle. So whatever I give out is also what I have the opportunity and honor of receiving. And I'm responsible for my own energy that I bring to every moment. And so that's great. And I have playlists too. And, dancing on your own is fun. And, as a kid, we had so much fun. It's about bringing that energy of joy and inspiration and appreciation into the moment too. So if you could encourage every organization to make one shift towards a deeper collaboration, what would that be?
It's really, for me, about creating space, psychological safety, and trust. So how do I honor somebody else's experience and know that my brother and I grew up in the same household and we have totally different experiences, right? So honoring somebody's experience and being able to say, I hear you and I understand that I might not experience it in the same way. I haven't experienced that way, but I believe that what you experienced is true and it has value and I can learn from it, rather than being so afraid to hear something different. And I think right now in our world, everybody is so afraid to hear a different experience because for some reason we think that it diminishes ours, and it doesn't. My experience is my experience, and it has value, and others can learn from me as much as I can learn from somebody else. And we can create spaces in our organizations to do that. We're going to have higher productivity. We're going to have less turnover. People are going to be wanting to come into our organization. It's all about then creating that culture of which people feel and see themselves in the bigger picture.
Yeah, that they can also learn and grow from the experiences and conversations, and they value that. And loyalty is increased at the same time because they actually appreciate coming to work and working for an organization that truly cares. And to me, that is love-inspired leadership. And that's what this podcast is all about. So any specific practices that help you or the groups create that space?
For me, it all starts with curiosity and asking questions of curiosity to learn more, rather than the yes and no questions, being able to say, tell me more about that. Where have you experienced that? Where things have gone well for you? Where hasn't it gone well? How might we look at this from a different way? Right? For me, it's all starts with questions.
And it's having that open mind and that perspective of wonder and wanting to know more and expand that. I love it. And my above the line decision place, above the line and below the line, the first level above the line is curiosity. And I think that is such an incredible, valuable decision to keep your mind open and curious about what can be, what I can discover, just changing the perspective from a closed mind, constricting to an open mind. I love it.
Yeah. So when we can hear those curiosities, and sometimes as leaders, we just have to sit in silence. We don't need to respond. We don't have to have a rebuttal, but just listen to what people are telling you and build that space and that trust.
It's so great. I love it. So I believe these moments of breakthrough, these concepts, these skills, these tools, these ideas are the true fabric of transformation and change into creating a love-inspired leadership organization or individually. So I just think it's also brought together, really creates a legacy, a living legacy approach to evolution, expansion, and contribution. So how does your commitment to saying yes to each place and each community enrich your life?
I love this question. I say often when I'm in training that we're always, the highest that I can get of knowledge in any situation is 90%. I'm the expert in the room and I'm still only at 90% because there's people that are continuously bringing experiences to me that I'm learning from. And I'm looking for those opportunities always, whether it's in a simple conversation or whether it's in a training or I'm working with an organization and I'm the expert. I come in with that open mind. I want to be curious. I want to learn, and I want people to know that I'm learning from you. Like what you have given me, whether this is the first day on the job or you've been here for 35 years, there's something that you have contributed that has me looking at this in a different light, in a different perspective, and I get to learn. And I get to learn that every day.
Yep. It doesn't get much better than that, Carrie, seriously. So thank you for honestly being so wise, so authentic, so real, so vulnerable. And I appreciate you. And you have a gift for our audience, correct? So
yes.
They can go where to get in contact with you?
So you can go, you can email me or connect with me on LinkedIn. And I have a reflection sheet and some information I can send you just about understanding what does it really mean to show up in these spaces with energy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And for my audience, as you know, I have my 21-day Sacred Insight journey as well to support you in that reflection, those journal prompts, and really support you with that foundation as a love-inspired leader. And my last question to the audience is, what can you do this week to honor the value of another person's perspective or voice? So, Carrie, thank you so much for being here on the Love Inspired Leadership podcast. And for my audience, I look forward to seeing you again. Take good care. Thank you. Thank you for joining me on the Love Inspired Leadership podcast. If today's episode stirred something in your soul, share it with someone who's ready to aim higher. Keep holding your vision, anchor in your truth, and take intentional, inspired action, because love is all there is.
Hey, I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of the High Vibe Podcast Network, and we are honored to have Carolyn Cooper's Love Inspired Leadership show as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com, and don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift fold. Till then, stay high vibe and keep sharing your light.